Hi guys, welcome to Wrestling Fan Open Mic Night here exclusively on YouTube. Thank you ever so much for tuning in. And breaking news, as I'm doing this video, I've just hit 61 subscribers. Yes, 61 of you guys want honesty towards professional wrestling. And you're more than welcome to keep coming back, hitting that subscribe button, hitting that bell icon, so you'll be notified anytime when I do any videos. And like I always say, it's 9 times somewhere in this world that may be, and it's early morning here in the United Kingdom because I've just finished watching AEW 2025's Blood and Guts and the premiere of the very first women's Blood and Guts alongside with the men's Blood and Guts, as well as Hangman Adam Page versus Powerhouse Hobbs in a Falls Count Anywhere match. All I can say is to you guys, I will be talking about that in duration very, very soon. Now, first and foremost, I didn't get around to talking about this because due to, obviously, personal commitments, I just want to say this, right? I went for a job interview, then a work trial. I got into the third stage of it, but they turned me down because I didn't have asked the manager enough questions. It's a lame reason because they said my work ethic and everything was golden. It was good and knowledge of the brand of store that I applied for. So they don't count, people that work ethic doesn't count anymore. You just want someone to ask questions when you're busy doing the job that you're meant to be doing for that hour of that work trial. I'm not bitter, but I just want to say it's the most lamest reason not for giving someone a job. So that, in a nutshell, that cost me just near enough just under £2,000 a month before deductions. So I'm still on UC, but end of the day, I hope things turn around very, very soon because I'm sick of living on UC. I'm one of these people that wants to work, and that's just me being honest. I'm not one of these ones to be on UC for the rest of my life. I'm 43 years old, and yeah, I'm up late at night talking about professional wrestling as well. But with all the weather changing that lot doesn't help. Even though it's very mild still, surprisingly, the middle of November, it's very, very mild, even though it's been wet and windy. Today we hit 15 Celsius. That's unheard of. We're normally in the minuses right now, like 0 or -1, -2 bracket. That just proves how global warming's affecting everyone. And like I say to you guys, it's night time somewhere in this world that may be, and it's right here in the United Kingdom right now. Because, quite honestly, when I literally look of what's actually happened, as you know for well, or don't know, I do talk about other companies as well on my uploads, and I know my uploads are few and far between here on YouTube. But I just want to say to everyone of you guys I hope you can understand what I'm trying to say to you guys at home. When I'm talking about professional wrestling, I know my voice is a bit hoarse. It's because of that weather change, and it's really taking its toll on my voice. Now, as you know full well, I put a post up not that long ago about talking. I was excited about Nixon Newell and a girlfriend being in AEW as extras and possibly getting signed up at some point. Now, with the turn of events, them walking out after the 3 minutes that they want to have a match, I'm not just going to say this. I'll point this out, and I will say to you guys that home, I can exclusively reveal this. That's not the Stephanie Newell or Nixon Newell I once knew. Fight for a spot. She'll turn up to wrestling shows, right? Regardless, right? Wherever she worked, she was a workhorse to get a short space of time to be a household name, to sign for the WWE, to be in the Mae Young Classic, to do this, to do that, to do that. She used to be the yes girl of professional wrestling here in the United Kingdom. She's stunning, she's beautiful, but the problem where it lies now is she walked out of a golden opportunity, even though it was 3 minutes, a golden opportunity to make herself a main stage into AEW at some point. Because they're only just developing the tag team division, even though they've had the certain tag teams going off in that company already for a while now and teasing towards the tag team titles and elevating the women even more than ever. And I'm fantastically they're doing it so well, which I do give AEW a lot of credit. But with Stephanie Newell walking out of the company, that's upset me. I'm being honest with you, that has really upset me as a fan, a supporter, and a person that I've respected and admired her work ethic and everything. But that's not the girl that I once knew on the independent scene that I made friends with, helped to get her first match, getting booked outside of Wales, I helped her get the ball rolling, and I feel like she shitted all over me, because at the end of the day, I was hoping AEW, like I've said many times, I've said about AEW being the place where you can be your second chance in life of professional wrestling. If you don't make it in WWE or you don't make it in TNA, you go to AEW, you'll thrive. And I feel like the women's division suits her. Yes, suits her far superior than what WWE's model at the moment. Considering WWE are trying to break away from the Vince McMahon sort of stuff, like renaming pay-per-views apart from the Big Four. But the problem where it lies, you can't sugarcoat or put a fresh coat of paint on it, because at the end of the day, you're trying to break away from that Vince McMahon mold, but you're not breaking away from that mold. Because you've gone living, it feels like WWE is living in the past. Look at all the past champions that you've actually got now as your champions. Apart from Jade Cargill, obviously. But then you look at Nikki Bella recently. She's literally after that world title that Stephanie Valkyria has. Now, that's the model I do not like, the way they're going with this. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You're not pushing future stars. You're rewinding time to the extreme now, to the point where you're appealing to the casual fan or the fan from back in the day, but the prices you are charging your fans are ridiculous. I've already stressed about the pricing and everything like that WWE does not need to do, but they are doing. Even though Nick Khan defends it. But like I was saying, with Stephanie Newell, she could have made herself a proper name for herself. And now she's made herself in a bad light with a lot of peers, a lot of legends and everything. You take what's given for you for granted, even though it was like 3 minutes match. You could have easily done that 3-minute match and gone. It's just made me such emotional, and I'm not being funny. I wear my heart on my sleeve. The people I do respect, but I feel like she shitted on me. She shitted on our fan base. She shitted on a lot of people. Even though she went on a Twitch stream to defend herself, I feel like that shouldn't have. It still upsets me now, and that's me being honest with you. Another thing I want to talk about: John Cena being the WWE IC champion, right? Is he going to continue being the IC champion until his final match passes the torch like the similar way he did with Cody? Although, is he going to do it with a young up-and-coming star? Is he going to do it with someone that's been around for a while? Who knows? Or is he going to lose it at Madison Square Garden? I think it's next Monday. Well, this Monday coming up. That's his last appearance. And I feel like you should have executed this IC title run sort of earlier on in his career, let alone earlier on in the year. I feel like it would have been far superior, and that's just me being honest with you. But I just feel like the John Cena tournament for his final match is absolutely shit. I'm not a fan of it. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. That's the only talking point I could actually say. What I couldn't talk about WWE, and that's just me being honest. I'm just hoping they do elevate a young star. I hope they don't put it on someone that's been around a while. Yeah, maybe Sheamus, because obviously he deserves the Grand Slam Championship. Yes, that is good aspects that you could actually get from this. But seriously, it seems like we're history repeating ourselves. It's like when Sheamus beat him for the WWE Championship back in the day, took everyone by surprise. You don't have that sort of surprise anymore, with the WWE, and that's just me being honest. So that's enough WWE talk. Let's talk about Blood and Guts, what's actually happened tonight. All I can say is the women's freaking hell, they pulled out the stops tonight. Absolutely, I was blown away with it. I couldn't take my eyes off the screen that much. It was just absolutely carnage. Bloodshed everywhere. Skye Blue within the first 5 minutes was bleeding everywhere. It was just absolute carnage to the point where, okay, the outcome, in a way, you would thought, oh shit, that's how you end that. The crowd technically wasn't happy, but they just lapped it up anyway. It was absolutely carnage, left, right, and centre. It delivered, They've been teasing for an all-women's Blood and Guts for a long, long time now, and I just want to say this. Bravo to every woman that's involved in that tournament. I mean, that Blood and Guts match, absolutely blown away with it. They are fucked. They're to the point where I've seen pictures that actually get staples, they get stitches, all for you guys at home. And that's just, I'm hoping that's going to be sort of a turning point for more people to groom towards watching AEW. You might want to call it groom, I don't know, but job well done. Then we had the actually Hangman Adam Page versus Powerhouse Hobbs in a false count. That was actually fucking carnage as well, but Hangman won. Job well done, Hangman. Ricky Steamboat, surprised he appeared. I was really surprised he was there. Then we went on to the men's Blood and Guts. Oh my god, that was even more carnage. It was bloodshed, left, right, and centre. Yes, it had a slow build towards it. Yes, Mark Briscoe was written out of it, but then ended up going in the match. So, okay. Then Gabe Kidd appeared. Then you've put Darby through the table. Literally, that was on fire, and I was literally thinking to myself, holy fucking shit. Holy fucking shit. The amount of times I've said this in my mind, because obviously I don't want to wake up the house. That's why I'm sitting in my living room right now. And I'm literally thinking, why the fuck is this not a pay-per-view? Why is this not a pay-per-view? I feel like they should make Blood and Guts from next year. I've been saying this for a while, but even though from the first one, you look at the first one to now, the production value, the stuff they do in this is pay-per-view caliber. The first Blood and Guts, yes, it wasn't that groundbreaking, I would say. But I feel like they've actually got the production value right, the moves right, everything about both of these Blood and Guts. And I was thinking to myself, why haven't they done this as a pay-per-view? Why haven't they not done this like an ECW sort of style pay-per-view? You may want to say what WWE could do with Extreme Rules that I feel like AEW should do with Blood and Guts. And that's me being honest here. It needs to be a pay-per-view because even though we've got 3 matches, yes, I always hindered the likes of I always hindered WWE for having less matches, but this served the purpose why it had less matches. So if this was on a pay-per-view, I wouldn't mind like the tag team titles, the world title on the line, like some Extreme Rules or Falls Count Anywhere or something on those lines. I feel like they should be doing this as a pay-per-view. I've been stressing this. And then we have like tag team titles, like a tables match or something, and I feel like this would sell well, and I feel like they should put this on more towards Halloween, but even though they've actually put it on this time of year, I feel like when you look at the way it's been done, I can see why they've done it. You might want to say it's counteracting with WWE's War Games, and I feel like when I looked at the way the women were, to the way they squeezed through that little gap to get out of the cage, and there was so much unique stuff that you don't see day in, day out from any organization. You adapt to your surroundings, you do certain move sets, you do certain things to make it stand out, to make you a part of that story of that match, and everyone delivered tonight, and I'm going to be honest with you, everything delivered. So when I look at the weight, I please make it a pay-per-view from next year, because it's going to grind my gears, because it's always on free-to-air TV. Yes, I watch it on Umbrella. Yes, I pay for it. But if you know what I mean, it is deserving of that structure, that stature now, to move it to the next level, because the production value is far, far superior, and they've done an amazing job, AEW tonight. The production value, you might want to say, is improved a lot from the very first Blood Guts to cutting off at the wrong time, cutting the wrong cameras at the wrong time. If you want to be that nitpicky, this was a work of art. Watching both in their own rights, they were fantastic, and I'm glad I stayed up late to watch it and tell you about it. If you've not watched it yet, go watch it. But anyway, that's my thoughts and opinions. Tell me your thoughts down below. How did you find Blood and Guts of 2025? Till next time, guys. Catch you guys later.